I see we have some early birds joining. Thanks for being early with me. If I can just get someone in the chat just to verify that you can hear me okay. Awesome. Thank you very much, all four of you. We'll just add a few more minutes here, just as people are rolling in. I don't think we just hit 12:30 now. I will say good morning to those on the West Coast, good afternoon and good evening to those on East Coast and further east than Eastern time zone here. I think we have about 11 or 12 time zones represented today, if I did my geography math right. So we have a few people joining us. Again, we'll just give it a minute to let some people roll in. By a show of hands, has anybody on the chat right now used PeopleIQ or VisitorIQ since our launch? Awesome. I see some people getting some use out of it already. Well, hopefully we can inspire those who have not to at least give it a test. Even if you do not add it as an add-on, it is available for some free uses each month, just to kind of get the feel for it and see if it's going to be valuable for your company. So I think we can go ahead and get started here. We're about 1.5 minutes past the start time. So if you haven't been on a webinar before or seen some of the marketing videos we're put out, I'm the director of marketing for Nutshell, Will Gordon. And today we're going to dive into our latest add-on release, which is PeopleIQ and one of its sub features, VisitorIQ, which actually launched last year. And we've refurbished it a little bit and nestled it underneath PeopleIQ. So can everyone see the presentation that I'm sharing as well? Just before we jump into it, I hate the whole share your screen and people won't be able to see. All right. Thank you, Cindy and Melissa. Cool. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just quickly going through a short agenda here just to let you know what you can expect. Before we go through that, I will say if you have to hop off at any point in time, or if you had a colleague that you invited, they signed up and registered but are unable to join today, you will get a copy of this full recording. And in about a month's time, we'll also have the video available on our website. So you can go back and watch the video at that time as well. So if you do need to leave a bit early, no worry, all this information will come to you. But today we're going to go over two of our features, PeopleIQ and VisitorIQ. And for both of those features, we're going to cover what does it actually do, when or why would you want to use it, or why would you want to add it to your subscription with Nutshell? And if you do, or if you just want to test it out, how you can go ahead and set it up. Both are pretty easy to set up. You can probably set up both in less than 5 minutes. Unless you have struggle accessing your website's code, then you might need some additional help to set up VisitorIQ. And before we really dive in, I do want to say we do have a member of our support team in the chat. So if you do have any questions about PeopleIQ or VisitorIQ as I'm going through, Kat will be very helpful in the chat and helps answer some questions. We'll also have some Q&A at the end that I will try to answer, but I will say that Kat is much more knowledgeable and probably better at answering those questions than I am, but I'll do my best as well. So without further ado, let's dive into PeopleIQ. What does PeopleIQ actually do? And I think the first bullet point says it as plainly and simple as possible. PeopleIQ helps you find additional people or points of contact at a company you already have in your CRM. So if it's a company record or you have a company attached to that lead, you can utilize that company page to help find people that work for that company that you don't have as people records in your CRM just yet. So over here in the little screenshot, you can see the Skycam Productions, which is a fake company that we added to our demo account. And then we can see that there's 14 people that work for that company that we don't have in our CRM just yet. So what it allows you to do is easily create new people records in Nutshell just in a few clicks. So you can click on that 14 people found button. It'll open up, and the people that you see there, you're able to add them as a people record in Nutshell without having to leave Nutshell at all. And it's going to automatically add them as people at that company there as well. To make sure you're not seeing every single employee that works for that company, you can put together filters and settings to make sure you're not seeing 300 employees. You're only really seeing the C-suite or the people in marketing or the people in sales. The settings can be set up and controlled by the admins in your account. So not everyone has access to update those settings, but anybody that has admin level access to your Nutshell account can update and change those settings. So not only is the name of these people provided, but the other contact information that's provided by PeopleIQ is the person's email, the person's phone number, and the person's LinkedIn profile, as well as their job title. Now, if that information is available, I should say, we'll always pull that information in. We're using a couple different data resources to gather this information for you and put it directly in Nutshell. If the email or the phone number is not available, we're not going to be able to pull that information in. But if it's available, if we can scrape that data in, it's going to be available for you to add to that person record inside of Nutshell. So why would you want to use PeopleIQ? Why did we find this valuable? Why do we think Nutshell customers would enjoy adding this to their plan? I think just a couple use cases to describe why you would want to use PeopleIQ. So the first one we want to go over is, what if you're working with a point of contact that you've worked with for months or for years, and all of a sudden that point of contact leaves the company? People like you can help you find the right next person to keep working on closing that lead or growing the business that you have with that company. I worked for an agency for 8 years, and one of the biggest reasons we lost customers is because there would be point of contact turnover, and maybe they weren't super responsive, but they would at least, get my updates and forward that up the chain, and people be happy with results. But if we're not hearing them for 3 months, we think everything's a-okay. But all of a sudden we see that, hey, that person's no longer there. Our updates are no longer getting fed up the chain. They don't understand the value of what my company is providing them. And all of a sudden we lose that customer. So People IQ can help you get out in front of that and find the person that took your point of contact's place. I think this was one that our sales team was really psyched about is, what if your sale or your upsell that you're working on stalls out in one of the departments that might not have decision or buying power? So People IQ can help you connect with someone who can help move that deal along. So if you're working with someone in the purchasing department, but you also need to get buy-in from someone in the finance department, or maybe you want to try to speak to that C-suite executive, this will help you this will allow you to try to get that person's contact information added to Nutshell, added to your company record, and you can reach out to that person directly from inside of Nutshell. And the third use case that we added here is, what if you have a really successful strategy to sell to a specific type of business or a specific franchise, and you work with a couple locations? This can help you find your point of contact's counterpart at another branch to help grow your business. If you have that successful rollout model, you can find that person with the same job title at a different location or a different franchise and continue to grow your business by getting more business for your business, to overuse the word a little bit. So just going over quickly how to set up People IQ, and then we're going to switch over to a video where our product marketer Jewel helps show you how to set up and then use People IQ. So hopefully after this webinar, you can go in and set it up and try out for yourself. So like I said earlier, only admins can change People IQ settings. Any user in your CRM or in Nutshell can use People IQ, but only admins can adjust the settings. To do that, you're going to go to the settings in the left-hand navigation, go to data and People IQ. There's a toggle on and off button. This is also going to toggle on Nutshell Intelligence as well. And then as far as your filters go for what types of people you would see for People IQ, you can choose filters based upon management levels. So it's going to be like entry level, C-suite, owner, senior, that title that's added on. For me, be director. You're also going to have job field. So that's going to be customer service, sales, marketing, finance, basically what department they're in. And then also based upon what contact information is available. If your sales process only involves calling people, it doesn't involve emailing people, you're going to want to make sure that you have the phone number must be available in order to show me that person, because otherwise that person record might not be as valuable to you if the phone number is not available there with it. But the three levels would be LinkedIn URL, phone number, and email for that as well. So real quick, let's go ahead and jump into a video prepared by Jewel, our product marketer, just for a quick walkthrough of People IQ.
Your point of contact leaves the company for a new job. Wouldn't it be better to find the next person to continue that sale instead of letting the lead die in your pipeline? Nutshell's People IQ finds specific individuals working for the companies you already have in Nutshell and reveals their contact information. so you can find the right points of contact for working your deals and open up new opportunities. Let's look at how to configure and use PeopleIQ. To get started with PeopleIQ, head to your company settings and click PeopleIQ. You'll need to enable Nutshell Intelligence for People, our tool for enriching your person records with valuable data like social media profiles, URLs, and more. You'll also need to toggle on PeopleIQ, so Nutshell can identify people working in your target market based on your preferred filters. You'll set these filters down below. Start by selecting the management levels you'd like to talk to and the job field, then set your contact information requirements. Be sure to click Save. With PeopleIQ enabled, you can now go to the company page where you'd like to find new points of contact. If PeopleIQ has identified any people working at this company, you'll see the People Found icon here. Click on it to find the individuals you might want to contact. For each person identified, Nutshell will gather data like the person's name, job title, location, and contact information. Found the perfect point of contact for making a cold call, pursuing an upsell opportunity, or just asking that billing question? Select the people you'd like to add to Nutshell and click Add. From there, you can reach out, start tracking your interactions in their timeline, add them to an email marketing list, and more. Each unlock costs 1 credit. You can view your available credits by navigating to Settings and PeopleIQ. PeopleIQ is available as an add-on for every Nutshell customer. And you get a limited number of free unlocks every month, so you can give it a try today. And that's how to remove communication roadblocks and find the right person for your message faster using PeopleIQ.
That should be better, right? Like Jules said, it's relatively easy to get set up in Nutshell and to start using right away. So, like you said, there's a limited number of uses that each customer has per month that you can test out People IQ using the credit based system. And we'll talk about what the actual cost of if you wanted to add People IQ to your plan is at the end of the webinar today. So moving on into Visitor IQ. And if you remember, Visitor IQ, we actually launched last summer as a standalone product. And since it's relatively similar in the way that we pull in data, we decided to make Visitor IQ a sub feature within People IQ. Visitor IQ still does the same stuff that it did when we originally launched it. It's just more focused less on the companies that you already have in your CRM and more so focused on the companies that are actually visiting your website. So let's get into what does Visitor IQ do. So it does exactly that. It shows you what companies are visiting your website and what pages they view on your website. It'll then show you also firmographic information like what is that company's address, what is the industry, how many employees does this company have, what is their annual estimated revenue, and then also what is their company website or their domain. Um, in addition to the companies it shows you, which we're pulling from an IP address, it'll also show you the employees who work for that company. Now, of course, we don't sell to companies, we sell to people when we're talking about doing sales and using a CRM. So it's going to show you the employees that may or may not have visited your website. And that would be good contacts to add to your CRM to maybe open up a sale or add to your email marketing list or something along that lines. And just like People IQ, it allows you to create company, contact, and or lead records in just a few clicks. Um, just like People IQ, why would we want to use Visitor IQ? It allows you to add interested website visitors who maybe didn't fill out a lead form or didn't give your sales team a phone call. It allows you to add them still to your CRM and start more of a cold outreach process to someone who already knows who you are, has already visited your website, and might be further along in the buying process than you realize already. And it's going to allow you to take that early action on your dream customers. I forget what the exact stat is, but I believe in a B2B space, visitors are, I think, 70% already through their buyer's funnel before they even contact a salesperson. So if they're on your website, that's a pretty big signal that they might be interested in your services, and it wouldn't hurt to try to reach out to them prior to them reaching out to you. And then you can also add these interested website visitors to your advertising audiences. So if you add their contact information to your CRM, you have the ability to email them. But not only that, add them to any campaign audiences on LinkedIn, Google Ads, Microsoft Ads, Facebook Ads, wherever you advertise for your business. Setting up Visitor IQ. It's a tad more complicated than People IQ just because there's one extra step to make sure you can utilize it because it involves your website. But the first three bullet points on this slide, relatively easy to do. For this, you will need access to the marketing part of Nutshell. So if you do not have access to it and you believe you should, talk to your Nutshell admin. They can change your users and permissions to make sure that you can access the marketing side of Nutshell. Once you do have that access, you'll go to marketing and then to Visitor IQ and then settings on the Visitor IQ page. And just like People IQ, you can set your filters for what types of companies and people you do want to see. So you can filter down by industries, management level, job field, and contact information. So if you don't sell to certain types of industries, there's no reason to be flooding your Visitor IQ experience with companies from those industries. Now, the added step here for Visitor IQ to make sure this works, because like I said, it's not just involving your CRM data, it's involving your website data as well. You will need to make sure that Nutshell Analytics is set up and installed on every single page of your website in order for Visitor IQ to work. There's instructions if you go to Visitor IQ on how to set up Nutshell Analytics. Our support team is more than happy to help you through it. But like I said, you will need access to your website to install this code. If you're somewhat familiar with your CMS or your content management system, it should take you only a few minutes. Or if you have a developer that helps you out with this stuff, you can easily copy the code that needs to go onto your site, send it to them, and they can upload the code for you. So for Visitor IQ, we have a walkthrough setup as well. Let's jump into that so we can learn more about Visitor IQ.
Dozens and maybe even hundreds of people visit your company's website every day, trying to determine whether your product or services are right for their needs. What if there was a way to proactively reach out to them first instead of waiting for them to contact you? With Nutshell's Visitor IQ, it's not just possible, it's surprisingly easy. Visitor IQ puts rich data about your website visitors right at your fingertips, like their name, the company they work for, company revenue, industry, contact information, and so much more. Let me show you how to configure and start using Visitor IQ so you can fill your pipeline with even more high-quality leads. Visitor IQ runs on Nutshell Analytics, a snippet of code you embed on your website that tracks your website visitors. To get started with Nutshell Analytics, go to the Marketing tab and click on Analytics. Here you'll be able to set up tracking by copying and pasting the embed code into the head element of your website on every page. If you need some assistance with this step, contact our support team for help. Once set up, Nutshell Analytics uses our blend of IP databases to identify the people and companies visiting your website. Now you'll be able to start using Visitor IQ. Start by clicking Visitor IQ in the left menu. Let's begin by configuring our settings. Here you can choose exactly which kind of companies and people Visitor IQ tracks. Refine your results by choosing the industries you're interested in, management level, job field, and which contact information Nutshell should pull in. Once you like your settings, save them here. After a bit of time, you'll start seeing data on all of the website visitors Visitor IQ is pulling in. In the first column, you'll see the company name of each of your visitors. Next, you'll find the contacts Visitor IQ has gathered that match those already in Nutshell. Then you'll see data like the company's first visit to your page, its location, industry, number of visits to your site, number of employees working for the company, its annual revenue, phone number, URL, and full address. Use the filter tabs in the left to zero in on specific information. Visitor IQ data gets even more helpful. Click on any of these companies to see specific information about visitors' time on your site and which pages they visited. Scrolling down, VisitorIQ also gives you a list of people you might be interested in contacting who work for that company. To add this company to Nutshell and potentially some of the people who work for it, just select the people you're interested in and click Add. Then you can use your sales skills to work the lead toward a deal. Unlocking and adding each company and person to Nutshell requires 1 credit, and you can view your available credits by navigating back to the VisitorIQ page and viewing your credits used here in the bottom left. And that's how you set up and use VisitorIQ. Reach out to our sales team for help getting started.
All right, mic's back on this time as I start talking again. So actually, before we jump into this, I'm just going to share 2 resources in the chat. These are just links um, inside the app. I believe it might be sharing in the app. This is actually the first time I've done this in our webinar instance. You can go ahead, click those links, and that will enable you to be able to set up both PeopleIQ and VisitorIQ in the app. Like I said, there is that extra step for Nutshell Analytics for VisitorIQ, but PeopleIQ, you can probably set that up in less than 2 minutes. So how to get or how to use PeopleIQ and VisitorIQ. So every Nutshell customer, regardless of whether you're on Foundation, Pro, Power AI, or Enterprise, or even in a free trial, every Nutshell customer gets 5 free credits per month to test out VisitorIQ and PeopleIQ. And it's a shared credit system. So a PeopleIQ credit is also a VisitorIQ credit. And how do these credits work? For PeopleIQ, for every 1 person that you add to your CRM via PeopleIQ, that's 1 credit used. For VisitorIQ, you're adding companies and people. So when you add 1 company and 1 person from that company, that's 2 credits. When you add 1 company and 2 people from that company, that would be a total of 3 credits. So the 2 instances that I showed there, if you added 2 companies and 2 people via VisitorIQ and 1 person from PeopleIQ, that would be your 5 free credits for the month. But it's going to give you an idea of how you could utilize this information. And I would even say just getting VisitorIQ set up is going to give you a lot of valuable information about some of the types of companies that are coming to your website. So you can go ahead and utilize that information in other parts of your marketing efforts or in your business strategy efforts before you even start using your VisitorIQ effort, or before you even start using your VisitorIQ credit. So I know I shouldn't tell you that you can get value out of it for free, but go ahead and just get it set up because there's a lot of value for it, for just having that information alone. Now, if you do want to purchase PeopleIQ, if those 5 free credits aren't enough or if you use them, you're like, wow, this is a really great tool. I would love to have this for my team. Admins can purchase PeopleIQ from our billing page. And then the billing starts at $37 per month for 100 credits for your company. So that's $37 for your entire company to use those 100 credits. That's not $37 per user that you have in your CRM. So if you're a 50-seat user with Nutshell, still only going to be $37. You might want to think about increasing the number of unlocks you have or the number of credits you have, but it's still going to only be $37 for that 100 mark. And you can see we go up to 5,000 credits that we have for the PeopleIQ and VisitorIQ. And as always, we're always looking for ways to improve our product. As you maybe saw in the chat, Allison and I both agreed that having that most recent visit for VisitorIQ would be very helpful. So just some of the things that we have lined up next to continue to improve PeopleIQ and VisitorIQ. For PeopleIQ, we want to be able to augment existing contacts by using PeopleIQ to get contact information. So getting someone's phone or email information when it's not already in your Nutshell instance. So how would this happen? Say a person enters a form on your website. That form sends information to your Nutshell CRM instance, but maybe they leave some of the forms in that contact field blank. So maybe they leave out their email or your phone number is not required. What we want to do is make PeopleIQ have the ability to go out and find that person's left out contact information. So whether that's their email and their phone number, so that you can complete the information for that contact record, which our sales team said that would be pretty valuable to make more sales. And then for VisitorIQ, this is actually another one, another feature that's on my wish list. And that's to be able to filter down immediately just in the main screen you see for Visitor IQ, to filter down companies who visited a specific page on your website. Maybe that's a page that leads to a specific or leads to a conversion or new leads typically. So if you have a contact page on your website and you want to say, hey, have any new companies visited our contact page but haven't contacted us? I think that shows you like, hey, these people are just about ready to buy. Maybe we should cold outreach to them, or really it's warm outreach at that point in time to be able to get them into your sales funnel and off of your website. So that's something that I'm asking for. I think that would be super helpful for our sales team and the way that we support them as the marketing team. So I know people have been asking questions throughout the whole entire presentation. I think Kat has done a pretty good job. I did see a few call outs to me for answering some questions here at the end. So I think someone asked how we get the data for People IQ. There's a few different resources that we kind of pull and scrape from all together. I think it's in our support article on People IQ. If it's not, I'm sorry, I'm mistaken there. But I will say it's, we're at the mercy for as far as accuracy of this data, as far as the data providers go. So if you do see information that is inaccurate, just let our let our support team know so that way we can give feedback to the data providers that are allowing us to use this data. We want the data to be as accurate and as useful as possible. And if it's not, we would really appreciate that feedback shared for us so we can share it to the people that we're getting this information from. Let me just scroll up through the chat. Feel free to continue asking your questions. Kat might be a faster typer than I am talker, or if I see one, I might try to take over for her. Just scrolling through, I believe most of them seem to be answered so far. So thank you so much, Kat, for joining. Cindy, the 100 credits per month, that's $37 per month for your entire company. And I believe the next level up, I want to say it's off the top of my head, around 60 some dollars for 250 unlocks. Actually, in another screen, I'll pull that up just for um, our information here on the call. $67 for 250 credits would be the next level for People IQ. But like I said, I would recommend just at the very least trying out the feature to see if it's something you would see valuable. And if it is valuable, you can get that added to your account. Currently, Colleen, we do not have a rollover plan. So if it's unused credits, they don't roll over until the next month. The way we structured the number of unlocks, we thought it would be depending on the team size or the number of companies or contacts someone has in their accounts. We thought that would kind of line up with the usage. But thank you for that feedback. Yes, Cindy, you can use credits for People IQ or Visitor IQ. It's kind of one bucket of credits that can use for either side. So if you're actively using People IQ and Visitor IQ and you had the 250 credits per month, I would say you'd be more likely to run out of credits than to have credits left over. At nutshell, we fortunately give ourselves unlimited credits, so I don't have to run into that issue. But if I did have 250 per month, me and my team would definitely run out. Awesome. If you do have any more questions as you're getting set up with People IQ and Visitor IQ, please do reach out to our support team. Um, thank you for joining this podcast in general. Just to let people know, you might have joined this webcast in the past, not podcast, as I mistakenly put it in the presentation here. But on the fourth Wednesday of every month at noon Eastern, we have a reoccurring webcast where we go over how to set up, use, and get more out of like the basics of nutshells. So it's a great opportunity to be able to ask a question and get shown the answer from our support team. You will, in the email that goes out to you after this webinar, you will get this PDF emailed to you. So you can go ahead and go right to that link, or you can find it on our website under resources and webinars. And the next Nutshell Basics webcast will be on June 26, 2024 at noon Eastern. It's a fantastic resource for Nutshell. Nutshell customers. Frank, I don't think that is your question is, can you control which agents use the credits? I don't believe that is a feature right now where you can say like a certain role can use credits or not. I could be incorrect about that. If you wouldn't mind just putting in a support ticket just to answer that, or unless Kat can answer that for us on the chat here as I talk slowly through our last two slides. And then other than just thanking you for joining us today, I just wanted to let you know on some other recent releases in the product and also some upcoming releases that are good to get excited about. Last week, or it might have been 2 weeks ago at this point in time, we launched Nutshell Note Taker. It's a conversational AI feature that enables you to use speak to text to write notes and emails in your CRM. So go to any timeline in your Nutshell instance, so any people, lead, or company timeline, and go to leave a note. You'll see a little blue bar with some sparkles and a microphone on it. Make sure your microphone or your browser allows access to your microphone. Click that, and you can take live notes directly on your timeline. It is a huge time saver. I personally love it, and I was actually really impressed with the accuracy of its ability to take notes too, because I'm a fast speaker and I sometimes blur my words together. Apologies to everybody on this webinar today, but it's a fantastic feature that's a huge time saver for companies. That is available on our Power AI and Enterprise plans. Um, we also launched and released form spam prevention. This had been a long requested feature by myself included. So essentially you have additional settings on your Nutshell forms to help combat spam from entering into your CRM, which is fantastic. That's a free, if you're using Nutshell forms, you just go to your settings. You can apply some of the different settings there for form spam prevention. We added Email Booster. So if anybody purchased Revenue Booster in the past, which originally just included our online scheduling feature, Scheduler, Revenue Booster now also includes Email Booster, which allows you to send Nutshell email templates directly within Gmail, while also being able to track the click opens and the click rates, click-through rates inside of Nutshell. So instead of sending the template from inside Nutshell and getting the reply in Gmail, if you're someone that loves to work out of Gmail, you can send those templates directly from within Gmail. At this point in time, the feature is not available for Office 365 users, but we do hope to add that feature in the future. So that was an awesome feature as well. And then something that just launched late last week, early this week, was parent-child relationships. So within your companies, inside your Nutshell account, you can create a company hierarchy to understand overall data for overall for the company, parent and child's included, or each individual child company as well. So if you work with organizations that have multi-level organizations, you can have that data kind of displayed a little bit more nicely inside of Nutshell. And then upcoming releases, one that I'm very excited about, I think a lot of our customers are very excited about, is Nutshell Inbox. This will give you the ability to send and receive text messages or SMS messages inside of Nutshell. It's going to be exactly, I shouldn't say exactly, it's going to be very similar to our personal email sequences that we have in Nutshell. So it's a Nutshell Pro feature. This is not going to be for like marketing messages for text messages or blasting out 10,000 text messages at once. This is going to be like our personalized email sequences where you can send out individual message to people, but you can have a template for that message. You can also connect it to sales automation. So in your sales process, you can have a text that gets sent out. So it's going to be very similar to our PES feature that we have now. And then another feature, maybe not as exciting, but still something to be excited about. We are enhancing our Zoom and phone call transcriptions. So it's we launched this, I would say somewhere around this time last year, but it required an additional Zoom setting to make sure that it worked appropriately. A lot of people didn't set that Zoom setting, so we figured, hey, let's take it upon ourselves to make this better internally in Nutshell. So now, once this gets launched, Zoom and phone calls will automatically record and transcribe all of your conversations or meetings into notes inside Nutshell. And if you're on the Power I plan or Enterprise plan, you can then use AI to summarize those phone calls as well. So, if you're ever wondering, hey, what doesn't that show up to? You can keep up to date with all of our product updates. Again, you'll get this PDF so you can click directly on that link. You can also make sure to subscribe to our shipping news newsletter if you're not subscribed to that already. That's going to let you know on upcoming rollouts, upcoming feature releases and enhancements, and also upcoming webinars that we have as well. And then you can also go to our website, go into resources, go to product updates. That's going to have all of our product updates listed. Really, if we did a good job historically, all the way back from 2013. And then you can see what's rolling out in the future as well. But I just want to take a moment to thank everyone for joining our webinar today. Hopefully, you learned a lot. If you do get into using PeopleIQ and VisitorIQ, you have any questions, just send our support team a message. They'll be happy to help answer your questions on that. But thank you for joining and happy nutshelling.